Let me tell you guys about how the military set me up for success. So at the age of 18, I joined the military because I wanted to get away from my dad, and I also wanted to escape the trap that America has set for a lot of people, which is student loans. I wanted to be educated, wanted to go to college, but I did not want to take on a student loan. When I joined the Navy, I was in boot camp for 2 months and I learned a lot during that time. The first thing was we had to put our phone away, right?
Hang up, give this phone back.
Right? So no phones allowed during training. They take your phone, they take your clothes, and everything is uniform, right? You're all wearing the same uniform from the day you entered that boot camp until the day you leave. You do not wear civilian clothes and you do not have access to your phone. So I learned to live without my cell phone for the first time. And the first 3 days was really, really, really hard. Then you come to realize that not having a cell phone with you all the time is actually very important. I learned how to take orders, and that came with humility, right? That's what I got from it. You become very humble.
I'm pretty sure that I said your hands will never be behind you, your hands will never be in front of you. What is your problem?
Another thing I learned was the power of routine, right? So in the military, all of us had to go to bed at 10. At 10, you have to be on the bed. It was mandatory for you to be in the bed. You sleeping is up to you, but trust me, you're gonna sleep. So I was sleeping at 10 and then we wake up at 6. So that's essentially 8 hours, of sleep. And I was programmed at that age, and I've been like that ever since. Even when I was in college, I always go to bed early, 9:30, 10, and I wake up early and start my day. So another thing I learned was to eat fast, right? When I went there, I used to eat very slow, and 5 minutes, and then they tell you to get up. Doing boot camp, you go eat with a time on us, right? So we match to go eat, and then you have 5 minutes to eat whatever you can eat, and you have to do it gently because the supervisors, the people who are in charge of the recruits, they are looking over you and make sure you eat gently and do it fast at the same time. So that's something I learned, and to this day, I don't spend more than 5 minutes on my food. So that saves you a lot of time, right? I eat fast. I drink water fast, I eat fast, do everything with speed. Another thing that happened was exercise. A lot of push-ups, a lot of jumping jacks and all that stuff. When I went in, I was really skinny. I was 118 pounds. I was really skinny as a kid. I came out of boot camp weighing 138 pounds, so I essentially gained 20 pounds. So I went to my first station. What happened was I started getting paid while I was in boot camp. So I became an adult, right? I had to grow up fast at the age of 18. I was on my own. I started making money. The first year, I was not smart with my money. The first year, I did not get myself into debt, but I did not save a dime, right? The pay wasn't that much, but if I knew better, I could have saved some. Right? I had credit card at the age of 18 because of the military. When I left the military, I had a perfect credit score. My credit score was around 823, so much so that I actually encountered a lot of issues that I'm gonna share with you guys as time goes on. So because it was like unreal, right? This is a 22-year-old kid with 830, credit score, almost like perfect. The highest score is 850. So the military taught me a lot. I was forced to learn finance at early age. First year, I didn't save anything, but I sat myself down and self-reflected and noticed that I messed up, and I decided to save after that, and then I saved a lot of money. Another thing that happened was I picked up the habit of working out, and that has been the most important thing that I took from the military. I did not understand the impact of it. Like I said, I was skinny. I gained 20 pounds in boot camp. Then so I was around 138 pounds, and I was around there. And when I was on a ship, I had a supervisor. His name was Nwafu. And then Nwafu will always tell me, like, Rush, your physique, once you work out, it's going to look really good on you, man. I think you should try this out. And one day I went to the gym with him. I remember I was really weak. I couldn't even lift the bar, which is like 45 pounds, right? And he kind of took me under his wing and showed me how to work out. 2 months later, I was getting compliments.
You heard that? You have a lot of money. Rush, it's your time. 2 minutes and 22 seconds to beat.
This guy needs a cheeseburger.
He needs a cheeseburger.
He needs a cheeseburger.
John says you need a cheeseburger, my friend. In fact, you need 2 cheeseburgers. Man, you need 2 cheeseburgers, man.
And, that got to my head, and that was it. I was hooked. Ever since, I've been working out at least 5 times a week. It's been almost like 11 years. I work out every single day for the most part, take 1 day a week out or 2 days, depending on how my schedule is. And that's been beneficial tremendously. I did not understand it, but I've met a lot of great people through the gym. I feel way better. As a matter of fact, if I don't work out, I don't feel the same. So if you're not working out, you are missing something. You should definitely incorporate that. And when I work out, my energy level is always really high. And my thinking process is clear, right? And I cannot get stressed no matter, I'm an entrepreneur and I deal with a lot of stress. And during the military, actually, there was a lot of stressful moments and the gym really helped me out a lot. So let me talk about the stressful moments. The military taught me how to handle stress at a very early age because there's a lot of pressure, right? The work that we're doing, especially my job, was we were separating people, people's pay, a whole bunch of stuff. It's like people's lives that, we're playing with. So you got to perform. And there was a lot of pressure on me at that age. And I ranked up pretty quickly in the military. When I was 19, 20, I was a supervisor. And, it comes with pressure. Also, when we went on deployment, 9 months without your cell phone, it's essentially like jail. Basically, we eat the same food on the ship as people in prison eat, really. So it's very similar to jail. A lot of people actually lost their minds over there. People were stressed out. There were a few suicide cases. It was very stressful, but it did not get to me, right? I learned how to be by myself. Unfortunately, I wasn't a reader back then. God, that would have helped me so much if I was a reader back then. So what I did was I used my time to watch shows, working out, just thinking about my future plans and all that stuff. I wasn't a reader. Because of my job, I had access to the internet, but it was very, very, very slow. So you could think about like the 1980s kind of internet speed, very slow. To get one Facebook message out, it's like, yes. And you tend to appreciate the small things in life, right? When you don't have access to having an internet that's so damn slow that where your message goes to, you are jumping up and down, right? All of this stuff kind of builds you up. My job, I started off with customer service, right? So I was not a shy person at all in Ghana, but when I went to America, I became timid because, I was shy. I was in a new environment and all that. So I wasn't really a talker. But when I joined the military, I became really confident, right? Because they put me on the front counter and I was dealing with all these people that were coming in. And I was talking to people, and once we practice, you get better. So with practice, I became really comfortable and confident in talking to people, and that served me really, really well with my networking skills. And I'm not a shy person. I can talk to anybody. Like I've talked to at the age of 18. Like I said, we're handling people's pay. So no matter how old that person is, 50, 55 years old, they were coming to me for help, and I had to help them out. And you kind of I grew into somebody who wasn't scared of adults. So most of my friends now are actually 38 and over, except the people I went to high school with. Most of my friends are in their 40s. It's really hard for me to actually connect with my age group. I grew up really fast because most of the people that were working in my department were older than me, 3 to 30 years older than me at the time. So it forced me to grow up pretty quickly. On deployment, we also traveled, and that helped me out greatly as I was exposed to other parts of the world, especially in the Middle East. I went to Dubai a lot, and Bahrain, and France and Spain, and just seeing other cultures and stuff like that, you don't think is that important. That's why most wealthy people start taking their kids out and traveling. Traveling is good for you. Not only for stress relieving, but also to learn about other people's culture, to let you know that there are other people out there who think differently, do stuff differently. And it works. Doesn't mean, so you don't be in your head in your bubble, think like, you run the world. Because unfortunately, a lot of ignorant people think that way. And hence the issue with some Americans who've never really traveled to Africa, thinking this place is a jungle and people don't eat and all that. It's lack of travel. If you've seen it yourself, then you wouldn't be thinking that way. So travel was a huge part for me. When I left the Navy, I was older. I'm so glad that I did not go to college right away, that I went to the Navy first before college. It really set me up for success because when I came out, I was much wiser. I knew what I wanted. I've faced the real life before. I've paid rent at a very early age. So coming in, I know how it is if you are broke, like what you're gonna go through. So I was not playing in college. I came in and I was basically aced everything. And this is the beautiful part. I did not have to worry about student loans. That's the main reason why I went in. So I skipped the whole thing and I did my undergrad and master's without any student loans. And I started with actually money. I did not start from negative. Most Americans start with negative, owing $60,000, $200,000, $150,000 in student loans when they are starting life. And I went out to my master's, so that was going to be me, but I skipped all of that. I had no student loans when I came out, thank God. And lastly, the military also gives you kind of like a upper hand, because if you've ever served in the military, when you're applying for jobs, right, they ask you a lot of questions, especially like you black or white, that's there. And I'm black, obviously, so I have to check that. And the man who's going through this is going to deny you because you're black, right? Especially in my field. If you're a black person, that's how racism works. They tend to turn you down. So I had a great GPA. I was black, that was a disadvantage. And being in the military, that shows that this guy is disciplined. So that worked for me. Once they see that you've been in the military before, military equals discipline, and they put a race aside, kind of pick you up for the job. So that served me greatly. But fortunately, I did not stay in the workforce for too long. I lasted for 2 months and I was out. But I got to the best of the best, and I know damn well that my military background definitely played a huge part in that. Because like I said, I was literally the only black person in there. If you buy a house in America, to avoid the penalties that comes with it, additional cost of insurance, you need to put 20% down in order to avoid that. And having served in the military, you get to own a house without having put that 20% down. You will have to come out of pocket for lawyer fees and all that stuff, but that's about it. You go in and just own a house and make payments towards it. I have not used mine yet, but I have that to use whenever I choose to. So it basically gives you a head start if you're starting from zero, right? Because you avoid the student loans. I personally feel like I learned so much from the military than I did in college. I learned a lot from the military. That served me well. These are the lessons that helped me greatly from the military, and also the benefits that came with it. So if you've not subscribed to the channel already, kindly do so. Like this video as it helps with the algorithm. Comment, let me know what you think. And until next time, my friends, be legendary. Peace.